Hi, I'm Sophia, and this is Elliot.
Hey, this is take 17.
Yeah, take 30,000. We're going to do a quick tutorial on how to get your email set up with CiviCRM and trying to get it more organized.
The idea here isn't to just demonstrate like one way to do this. So I'm going to show how to do this the hardest way, as we found out through almost a whole day of this. So I'm going to use my personal Gmail, and we're going to use what I call, and I think other people call, the plus trick or the plus syntax of Gmail. My regular email address is elliottchristensen@gmail.com, and I'm going to use Elliott Christensen plus mydropwizard@gmail.com. And the reason for that is that allows us to filter out the email at the Gmail level and then import it into CiviCRM with no extra emails that aren't needed. We're going to do a number of things here. We're going to configure Gmail to be accessible by CiviCRM.
Yeah.
We're going to set up a filter, like I mentioned. We're going to configure CiviCRM to import those messages every hour. And I think that that's really the main gist of things. There's a lot of little details to that. And again, we're going to do it the hard way with using the plus trick with an existing email address. The easiest thing is to set up either a new Gmail address, a new Google Suites address, some other email address to do this function for you. And so what are we actually doing? We're going to utilize the BCC field of your email. So it works across any email client. So if you're using your iPhone or Outlook or Gmail itself, you can just type into the BCC field this magic plus email address, and then things will be loaded into your CRM. And CiviCRM, the way it's configured with Roundearth, will automatically import the contacts from that email automatically and set it up. Did I explain that right? I feel like we've done this 10,000 times, so I might have skipped something.
No, yeah, you did it just right.
Right. So I am in my personal Gmail here. So the thing we want to get into is you want to click on this little logo here. Usually it's your face or something. So go to your Google account. The very first thing we want to do is, if it's not already, we want to go into sign in and security. If it's not set up already, you want to make sure two-step verification is set up. That's just a good idea to do that anyway. If you have this off, the instructions are a little bit different. Then you need to allow for insecure apps. So then you would go to myaccount.google.com/less secure apps. Okay.
Less secure apps.
Yep. And so it's going to say I have two-factor authentication set up, so it's not going to make me do it. Actually, it's going to make me log in first to verify I'm setting up the right account. Here it says this is not available for accounts with two-step verification enabled, which mine does. If you didn't, you'd have to go to this URL and you'd have to allow for less secure app access. Okay, and then you just use your regular email password. But what we're going to do here is we have two-step verification set up, and because of that, every time an email is processed through the system, we don't want CiviCRM to have to do a two-step verification process to log into your email. That's insanity. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up an app password. That allows CiviCRM to log in and access your email. You see you can select an app or select a device. We're going to just select an app, say other, and we're going to just call it CiviCRM/Roundearth and generate. And then you get this password here that's in yellow. I'm just going to copy that.
Yeah, and make sure to remember that, because later in the video, we're going to be telling you where to use it.
Exactly. And don't be like me and forget steps. That's no good.
Yeah.
Now we're done with the security section of Google Apps or G Suite or Gmail. So now back to my inbox, and then we go to the little gear, the settings. Now there's a few things we need to set up in here, and this is a little tricky. So we're going to go to forwarding and pop/IMAP. Just for a quick history lesson, the original type of email that everybody used 20 years ago was called POP, Post Office Protocol. That was a system where it assumed you have one home computer and you download all your messages to your home computer. People didn't get as much email as they do now, and they didn't need it as organized as they do now. But if they did want it organized, they did that on their PC. They didn't have iPhones. They didn't have iPads. They didn't have all these devices. They didn't work while they're on vacation. POP gave way because of all those new devices to a protocol called IMAP. That's what we need to use for CiviCRM. That's kind of the lowest common denominator for email. So CiviCRM can speak IMAP to Gmail. Almost all email providers will support IMAP. You can use POP actually with CiviCRM, but you're going to probably want to use IMAP just to keep things kind of straightforward and simple. And we're going to go to filters. Now this is the little magic part that we're doing in Gmail. This is the easiest way that we have, and we're going to put it in the has the words, not the doesn't have. And I'm going to type delivered to with no spaces. And then I'm going to type my email address. I have to get that correct, except I'm going to put a plus in here. So my normal email address is this, but I'm going to put a plus in here before the @ and I'm going to type my drop wizard here.
So what does that do?
So that is an awesome question. My regular email is elliottchristensen@gmail.com. And what we want to do is we want to have, if an email comes into this email address, it's still going to go right into my inbox. It's going to be delivered to me. So this plus is sort of ignored unless we do something with it. But by having this plus, using this delivered to, it allows us to send a BCC to my email address, have it automatically filtered into a folder, and then we're going to use in that folder, Gmail calls that a label. We're going to use that label, that folder, to pull in the messages into CiviCRM. So it's sort of magical. So I'm going to apply the label, and I'm going to create a new label, and I'm going to call it my drop wizard. Okay.
Awesome.
So assuming that all works, I'm going to do a quick test email. I'm going to create a new message, and I'm going to send the message back to myself. So this is my other email address, and now I'm going to use that BCC field, and I'm just going to, you can see we did this a few times. So I'm just going to BCC this, okay? The reason we're using the BCC is the to is who we're sending it to. So you're probably not going to send things to yourself, right? You're going to send it to somebody else, right? So this is to someone else, but we don't want them to see this because this is gibberish and they're not going to understand what this is. In a lot of cases, you might have some random code in here or whatever, or they're just wondering, why are you copying in this other account? This is just for your own record, but it gets confusing to people when they see other things in there. We have the to. This is the people, the primary people that a message is to. CC means they get a copy. Gave the example before of if you're sending something to a parent for a child, the parent could be in the to and the child could be in the CC or vice versa. We're going to just make a test message here. And we're going to send this out. Okay, I think I got that all right. And just for fun, we're going to add another one here. And actually, I'll send it to another address. So I'm just going to send it to another email address that I have. Okay.
Okay.
So we can see what happens there. And we'll add the BCC here. Okay. And I'm going to call this message too. Okay. So now we're going to send those off. Okay. And now I'll go back to our Gmail. And we should see both of those messages in here. So that's great.
Yeah.
It didn't end up in our drop wizard again. Okay. So what did I mess up here?
No.
Okay. Oh, I didn't save it. Okay. So that's easy enough. I must just not hit save. And have no fear, because we'll see a little feature here that's going to save us from ourselves. Oops. You can tell I'm too used to typing that. All right, so if there are no typos here, and we'll see in a second if there are. So you see right here, also apply filter to 2 matching conversations. So there's 2 that just came in. We're going to add those to this, and we're going to move it to the My Drop Wizard folder and create the filter. Now those should be in here. Yay, they're in there. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. So that's how you set up the Gmail. And that's the hard way. If you just have a separate email address, they're just going to go into your inbox, and those are going to be the only messages. So you don't have to do this extra folder or label or any of that stuff. Did I leave anything else, Sophia?
Nope, you're right on track.
Okay. So now I feel easier because I feel like during our test runs of this, we struggled more with the Google stuff. We'll jump into CiviCRM. So here we are. We're in our CiviCRM system, our Roundearth website. This is our actual site, so you can see we're using it too. In our previous videos, we talked about how things are sort of stacked left to right, the things you use most to the things you use least. And that still holds true. We are going to use one of these last menus, the administer menu, and we're going to actually go all the way near the bottom here into CiviMail. But we're going to set this once and then it's done. Okay. Unlike today where we set it like 20 times, but that's not typical. Okay. So now there are 2 different kinds of email accounts that we can add into here in Civi. One is for bounce processing, like is mentioned here. So that's all set. But we're going to add a new mail account, and we're going to down here used for. We're going to set that to email to activity processing. So this is magical. Just by making this one little setting, it'll import. It can assign it to a user of your CRM. It can create new contacts, new individuals. It's pretty awesome. So let me know if I left anything out there. And I'm going to just kind of start from the top here. So at the very top, you can call this whatever you want. I'm calling this temporary activity processing. Mostly because this is temporary. We're going to take this out. Now, the settings for Gmail are pretty straightforward. For the IMAP for Gmail, it's imap.gmail.com. Okay. So anybody using Gmail or G Suite, I think this should also work. Now here, this is the part of when you're using Gmail, it's the part before the @ sign. And it's just that. If you have your own custom email address, then it'd be the whole thing. Put that entire email address there. Remember when we said you have to keep that password? Actually, Sophia said that.
Yeah.
So
This is where it comes up.
I'm going to pull this out and paste that in there. Okay. So that is that password. That's important. I'm going to leave this blank for right now and see if things work. And then for this is just gmail.com. Protocol, again, you could do POP3, but we're going to do IMAP. Then the source is the My Drop Wizard folder. And then we have to use SSL. That's required. Google requires that, which is always a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what was SSL again?
SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. That is the security that is basically used across the internet for almost everything. So from logging into servers to the little lock on a website to email services. So it encrypts your communication so that only you and the server can see what's in the communication that you're sending. I mean, be advised, like that doesn't encrypt email all the way through. So email is still relatively insecure, but this part is secure all the way through for us. So no worries there. All right. So I'm going to hit save there. Okay. And we sent those 2 test messages already. So now the one thing that, actually, I'm just going to go to our contacts and I'm going to search for me. Might be a residual here that we forgot to get rid of, but that's why I did that other one. Okay, yeah. So we just have the one contact here. The other thing is this may be turned on for some people depending on their configuration, but we need to process inbound emails, and that is currently on this system. It is set to disabled, so we need to just select enable. And then Because we want this to run right away, we don't want to wait potentially a full hour for that. We're going to just hit run all scheduled jobs manually.
Okay. Where is that?
Oh, yeah, I went kind of quick through that. So in the CiviCRM menu of Roundearth, it's under Administer, System Settings, Scheduled Jobs.
Awesome.
Okay, yep. And then that first thing was under CiviMail, Mail Accounts. I went kind of fast on that too. Now, since we just ran that, we can view the log, and hopefully this shows everything's good. If we see any errors, I think we're going to cry.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, it says everything's success, so that's good. So now when I go to search here, if I search for me, I see that it already pulled some things up here.
Because of the 2 test emails we've sent.
Yeah, we sent 2 test emails, so one of them got pulled in here. Now, the other one wasn't to this user. It was for, let's just search for... It pulled in Absolute Packer Fans right here. Okay, so it automatically pulled this in. And it created this record. It automatically created this other record. So we'll click on one of these. We'll click View. And where the magic is, it creates the record automatically. It creates activity automatically.
Well, thank you for showing us this little tutorial and video on how to get our emails set up. Hopefully this works for everybody else. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let us know. Yeah.
That sounds perfect. I'd just like to add, this was for Gmail. We could also do a tutorial on G Suite, just highlight some of the differences there. But also, we could try to get this set up on some other kind of email system like Microsoft 365. Thanks for listening, and like Sophia said, get in touch with us if you have any questions, comments, or if you run into any troubles with any of the things we went over. Thanks.